Hello everyone. Alright, what I want to show you today is kind of a quick video review of these right over here. The Sleeklens Lightroom Landscape Essentials presets. And as you can see, I'm a big fan of presets. I have some custom ones of my own. I've used presets from other individuals, and then as you'll see, these Through the Woods right here is the Sleeklens Landscape Essentials presets. They reached out to me here a little while ago, wanted to know if I wanted to give them a quick review, see if I could integrate them into my workflow, how I use it. I basically just kind of test them out and then kind of let everybody know my thoughts on it. And so, as you can see, I mean, it's been a while since they reached out to me, and I'm just finally getting around to creating the review. But as you can see over here, I still do have the presets, and I still do use them occasionally in my workflow because they actually work quite well. And I figured it'd be easier to show you a screen recording of this than to write up a big, long, drawn-out blog post with pictures and all that kind of stuff to explain it. So here's what I want to show you. When you get the Landscape Essentials presets, you basically get all of these that you can see down here. And this is my actual production Lightroom catalog. So you'll see I've got a lot of other extra stuff in here, but for right now, just focus on all of these that say Through the Woods. And the point of the Sleeklens presets is they kind of have more of a workflow to them than just kind of like add this preset and you're done. They do have those, as you'll see, these all-in-one presets right here. You can basically click those depending on your image, and it's, as it says, it's an all-in-one. It'll add split toning, it'll add highlight, shadow, whites adjustments, all of that. And it basically does everything for you, including sharpening, all of that. These work great depending on the image. There's black and white presets in there. There's all sorts of different ones, and they actually work fairly well for kind of a one-click preset. I view these more as kind of an advanced starting point because they will do a lot, but for my personal workflow, I still require some additional tweaking, and I would urge you to do that as well, because then you don't have everybody out there one-clicking on a preset and everybody's images look the same. I don't like that. I'm not a fan. And so I view these as advanced starting points in your workflow. If you go past there, you'll see you've got these numbers 1, 2, 3. This is where their workflow kind of is different than what you'll usually see, and their whole package is kind of built around this. And what it's designed to do is that, say you have this image right here, you start off with, and I'm just going to click through here and kind of show you what it does. Say I want to start off with, let's start off with the basic film. You click that, you get the preset applied. Then you move down, say you want to darken the shadows. Click that next, and it adds it on top of the base preset that you started with. So you've got, you know, brighten shadows, darken, kind of your basic highlight, shadows, adjustments. Then you go down to step 3, your color adjustments. If you have a color cast, if you want to reduce blues, you have a green tint, you have too much red. Let's say I want to reduce the blues in this image. Click on that, and you'll see the image here has reduced the blues on it. And what that does, if you go over into the color panel, you'll see it basically just reduces your saturation of the blue and aqua colors. So if I can back up here, and you'll see I've zeroed those out. Say that's not what I wanted. I wanted to reduce greens. Again, you look over here, it boosts the reds, makes some hue adjustments, that kind of stuff. I don't like that. I'm going to back out. And you can go kind of back and forth on all of these, say reduce the yellows, and kind of click through them and see which one works best for you. And then the great thing is, if you don't want to use any of these color corrections, you don't have to. So then you can skip down to number 4 here, and this is kind of your toning. You can add some additional color saturation, desaturate it, add some extra warmth to it. And let me click on the basic tab, and we'll click this warm it up here, and it's going to kind of adjust your tone, your tint, that kind of stuff. And so if you like that, skip down to number 5. If you don't, again, the beauty of this is you don't have to use these if you don't want to. But let's say, let's try that. Let's just say warm it up. Then you go into your final, well, not your final section, your next to last. This is kind of your clarity, contrast, add some sharpening. Say I want to add a bunch of clarity, click on that, adds clarity to it, bumps it up to about 33 in your panel over here. If I don't like that, undo it. I can drop down the clarity if you want kind of that soft look. You can add this one they call punch it up, adds a bunch of contrast, clarity, bumps up your vibrance, that kind of stuff. Let's say we want to bump up the contrast. You can see this bumps it up to 49. Jumps quite a bit. If you don't like that, the beauty of it is you can go in here and you can drop that down to what you like. Let's get back here. Let's just say I want to add some clarity. That's great. And then finally you get to the last step, step number 6 in this. If you want to add a vignette, I'm a big fan of this medium black. I actually use it quite a lot, and you'll see under your effects tab it kind of adjusts your vignette like this. And I also actually tweak this one. A lot of times it can be a little bit too much. There's a subtle black as well. It's great a lot of the time. Sometimes that doesn't quite do it. Strong black is very, very strong. If that's what you need, that's good. But what I'll usually like to do, go in this medium black, and then I can come over here and I can drop this somewhere in between the subtle and the medium black, and you can kind of get this nice customized vignette if that's what you'd like. And as you'll see, after you've gone through all of those, some of these, like if I didn't add sharpening, like I can go back and add sharpening to it now, and that will bump this up right there to add kind of a default sharpening. And this may work for the images that you're on. A lot of the times I like to drop my radius down to 0.9 because I shoot mostly landscape stuff. I find I get a little bit better detail in that. I can bump my details up. I can adjust my mask, all of that. And if you don't like any of those, you can just kind of back out of them here. And so what that does is you can start off, as I showed you, start off, go through 1 through 6, and kind of incrementally apply these presets and build up your image how you like. And you can see here, I'll show you the before, like that, and there's the after. And that kind of gives you a great, a quick, and if I was just kind of going through this without trying to explain everything, you can go through and click, 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 adjust, and you could be done in 5 minutes or less if that's what you wanted to do. But I'm going to show you now the way I kind of like to use these presets. So I'm going to start back over at the beginning here, and you'll see this is an image from the Valley of Fire. If any of you have ever been there, you'll probably recognize this. If not, I highly recommend going. But this is what I usually like to do. I'm a huge fan of this all-in-one shine. What's it called? Shine. I can't remember what it's called. Shine into the sun, I believe. If I could drag, and it won't go any bigger. But I believe it's called Shine into the Sunset. There we go. And what I actually use this on quite a few images, and so I'm going to click this all-in-one. All right. You can see it's made a drastic difference right from the get-go. then what I'll do, come back into my basic panel here, and I will go through and kind of make my own adjustments, try out some different white balance settings. I'm not a big fan of that. If I want to just tweak it myself, add a little bit of warmth, not quite an auto setting. I can drop my highlights down even more, and then ignore the big dust spot right there as well. Kind of play around with my shadows, and I'm just going to kind of quickly go through this to show you what you can do just in a very short while, starting from a very great base point. And then, see, it's bumped that up. And as you've seen, I started with this all-in-one. I can also come down and still use some of these additional kind of the workflow type ones. So say I want to brighten my shadows quickly, I can just click on that and it'll make some adjustments. I don't necessarily want to do that, so I've got my starting point still, go through, got my tone curve. You can also apply this with some other presets. If I can remember, just ignore my searching around here. I use some other presets from some different photographers out there. Scott White and Kiefowitz makes these great ones. Actually got these for free, and they've worked out great. He's got these great tone curve presets. You can just punch up the contrast just easily, and so that's in combination with these Sleeklens presets. So you can mix and match their workflow with other personal presets you've made, or other ones from other photographers, or kind of just do whatever you want there. And you can see I've made the curve adjustments. I'm not going to mess with the color at all. I'm not going to mess with split toning any detail. So say I like this, if I wanted, I could even drag a gradual filter on the top to kind of bring down the exposure in the sky here, bring some of that color back into it. Maybe add a little clarity, dehaze it, bring up the shadows, kind of avoid the darkness over here. And the one thing that I'm not huge on is some of these all-in-one presets will bump up your sharpening drastically. I never like to go that high. And so I'll drop this down more into a range I like to use. Adjust my masking here. Ooh, there's a lot of dust spots there. Change that. I was on ISO 50 on this, so I can even drop my noise reduction down. And there's pretty much a finalized image right there. If I want, I can go back in here and say I wanted to add this subtle black. And there you go. That adds a little bit of a vignette. I could try out the medium black. Yeah, that's actually not bad, and I can do what I was mentioning before. Come in here, bring this down a little bit, and then if you want to see what it's doing, you can see drop your feather down to 0 so you can see exactly where it's at. Say I want to bring this midpoint out a little bit, bring the feathering back up, and I'm going to get rid of this dust spot just because it's staring me in the face and it keeps annoying me. Get rid of that. And so here we go. You can see there is basically the finalized image. And granted, I haven't dealt with the dust spots. That would be something you'd do kind of before you get started in all of this. You can see there's the after, and then there's the before. So in a matter of a couple minutes, it went from this to that. And that is the beauty of these Sleeklens presets and this Sleeklens workflow. You can follow some of the links up above in the article, or visit sleeklens.com. I believe they have Photoshop actions, they have Lightroom presets, not just for landscape photography. I believe they do have portrait ones as well. I don't really deal with portrait stuff, and so I'm not familiar with those, but I'm assuming they're going to work pretty much the same way to give you kind of a step-by-step kind of progress through each one of the different, highlight, shadows, color, polish it up, all of that. And they actually work very, very well. And as I mentioned, Sleeklens provided these to me for free to review. And so this, I'm not going to say it's a biased review, because I've actually integrated their presets into my own workflow. As you can see, this is probably something I would finish this up, clean up my dust spots, and publish this. I've used it on a few images in the past, and I keep this pretty much open today whenever I'm working on any of my images. So I recommend go check them out, see if they'd work for you, and hope you enjoyed this. Maybe you got some extra tips as far as processing, using other presets, using these presets. Find somebody's presets, create your own, use them as a starting point, and kind of work your way off from those rather than doing a one-click fix-all. So, hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, anything like that, leave me a comment, shoot me an email, anything like that, and be sure to check back soon. I'll have some new videos. I've got some travel videos coming out shortly. I've done some in the past from spring and Bryce Canyon, winter with some drone video work, and then I will have a new one from Valley of Fire coming out here shortly with my exploration of Pastel Canyon. So take care, have a good night, and I'll see you later.